Ahoy! Sorry I've been gone for so long. Life has been a series of rather stupid events lately. And because the internet was being more toxic than usual, I just couldn't stand the online world, so I took a month to recuperate and relax and try to ignore the flames of hatred that have consumed the land around me. An internet detox is good and necessary this day and age. Now that I'm back, I'm ready to watch some more fun, cheesy, retro sci-fi shenanigans, in the hopes that I will feel joy again. So I poured myself 3 fingers of Tylenol and went on the hunt for a new movie to watch. That was a joke, by the way. Tylenol isn't a drink. It also doesn't cause autism. Anyways, I wanted to look into a movie I hadn't seen before. And it's surprising, because it honestly seems right up my alley. This movie features the story of a crew of astronauts who travel into the far future, where they discover a civilization of ape people who view humans as nothing more than common animals to be hunted, killed, and put on display in ape museums. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Prepare yourselves for one of the greatest sci-fi classics of all time, Planet of the Vampires. What? Hey, yo, Remy!
Yes?
Yeah, what is this?
That's the movie you wanted?
I said I wanted you to get Planet of the Apes.
Oh, you said apes.
Yeah?
I thought you said vampires.
What?
Well, you know, apes, vampires, they sound a little similar.
Remy, they sound exactly nothing alike!
Right. Well, there was something else I wanted to ask you, but I can't remember what it was.
Was it urgent?
Define urgent.
No, I won't. Now tell me.
I can't remember. I'm gonna go retrace my steps and see if that jogs my memory a bit. Good luck with the Halloween video, Captain.
Oh my god. Anyways, this is what we're doing, I suppose. Now, it might shock some of you to hear that this movie was released in 1965, where Planet of the Apes would come out in 1968. So this movie would use the naming convention first. However, this movie has been known by other titles. In America, the movie was released as Planet of the Vampires, while in the UK it would be known as The Demon Planet. It had a different name in Italy as well, Terrore nello Spazio, which in English translates to Terror in Space. I don't care if I pronounced that correctly or not. If that upsets you, I don't know, cope. This movie was put together as a collaboration between Italian International Film and American International Pictures, so this film ended up being quite the international affair at the time. And while this movie has most certainly aged quite a bit, some people have suggested that this movie could have potentially been an inspiration for the likes of Alien in 1979 and Prometheus in 2012. Although, if you ask me, the movie inspiring Prometheus is kind of a stretch. Let's be real. Regardless, it's time we finally dive into this. So make sure your meteor rejectors are functioning and prepare for a crash landing as we make our approach to the Planet of the Vampires.
I remember now. Are we having grilled cheese later?
Yeah.
Cool. That's all I wanted to know.
Okay, you little psycho. Opening title sequence with spooky music because they're proud of this one. Also, is that the spaceship for this movie? It looks like a blimp. Honestly, the opening music is really good. I can see how Alien might have been inspired by this. I'm sure we'll find other comparisons as we progress. Inside the spaceship, we are introduced to our intrepid crew. Everything seems to be running smoothly as the crew work silently at their stations. Reminiscent of the Nostromo opening, even with the emergency space helmets that sit on the crew consoles. I always found that to be a wise decision for space travel, but it only works if you're wearing the rest of the spacesuit while in flight. So, in a way, these guys seem to be a small step ahead of the Nostromo crew, and honestly, that's a good first sign. The set design feels pretty lifeless, though. They could have at least put more stuff on the walls. Where's the flashing lights that don't do anything? The pipes that lead to nowhere? View screens displaying cool but useless technobabble? It makes me feel cold. Like how space is cold. Well, we see a planet on one of the screens suggesting that they're currently in an orbit. The captain asks crewman Bert if he can see anything, but Bert can only see clouds and suggests that the planet is made of fog, and apparently their infrared isn't strong enough to get through it. Do they not have any scanning technology that can determine what the fog is, or is fog the only thing they can determine from orbit? Well, they seem to be tracking some sort of alien signal, and using some infrared laser tech, they are able to lock onto it. 2 meteors also fly by, and another crewman contacts engineering to log the 2 meteors and get the new total, which is 999.
One more and I'll bake you a little birthday cake with 1,000 candles. Without this rejector, we'd look like a piece of Swiss cheese.
Where are you going to get 1,000 candles? Also, do you want to start a fire on your spaceship? He also points out that without the meteor rejector, the ship would be ripped to shreds in less than a minute. So let's do some math here. If the ship can be destroyed in less than a minute from meteor impacts, then that means they encounter enough meteors within a minute to destroy them. And so far, they've encountered 999, which I'm pretty sure is supposed to be 666, but upside down. Haha, movie, we all see what you did there. But how many meteors would it take to destroy their ship? Well, let's get a rough estimate going. We'll say 10 meteors for the sake of this argument. So if they are encountering around 10 meteors per minute, and they've encountered 999 meteors so far, then we can say that this crew has been in space for about 99.9 minutes, which is only about an hour and a half. So either they have launched from somewhere close by, which is unlikely because they don't report to any larger ship or nearby station, and on account that they're looking at a planet that they clearly haven't encountered before, so this is most certainly an uncharted system, or this ship is capable of making the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs. Also, I was about to rant about the difference between asteroids and meteors, but the movie gets a pass because you can clearly see the streak of light. You win this time, movie. But I got my eye on you.
Attention, all crew members, prepare for landing. In 60 fractions of Megon, we'll start the landing maneuver.
Is that a UK thing? Because that ain't no America speak. Oh, you know, the classic UK term. Ah, yes, it will be tea time in 60 fractions of Megon. What the fuck is a Megon? Yes, the movie is going to be filled with useless technobabble that doesn't actually mean dick, and honestly, it's good to embrace it now, because if you're expecting scientific accuracy from a movie that looks like this, you're just setting yourself up, really.
Synchronize the meteor rejector on the electromagnetic control device. Apply neurovascular tension.
That's not a spaceship term at all. That's like a medical term. What the fuck is going on?
Suppress cortical areas X, Y, Z. Insert the automatic controls.
In reality speak, the crew is preparing for a landing on the planet, and they make contact with a second sister ship called the Galliot. That actually sounds like a cool name for a spaceship. Has a nice ring to it. galliot. The crew of the galliot are skeptical of the signal being a sign of life, but something about the way these people are speaking feels unnatural. Ah well, space people are weird. The ship that we're on, though, which I still don't know the name of, says that they will know if there is life when they get down there. The captain's younger brother appears on the screen and says nothing because the call gets dropped due to space radiation or something. They spend about a minute trying to reach the galliot on comms, and they also seem to have lost the alien signal as well. I'd chalk that up to a communication malfunction on the ship's end if I lost both signals at the same time. The ship gets hit by something and the crew goes to emergency stations. The ship then begins to fall toward the planet as the crew hold on for dear life, and the lights begin flashing. The pilot then says they're going at about 20 Gs, and I have to go over this again. 1 G is equivalent to the gravitational pull of the Earth, so we're talking Earth gravity times 20. To give you a better sense of the situation, the average person can tolerate around 2 to 5 Gs with minimal effect, while trained fighter pilots can survive up to 9 Gs, but only for brief moments. If these people are at 20 Gs, they should be meat paste. But again, we shouldn't be expecting scientific accuracy from people who use the Megon system. Sounds sillier than metric if you ask me. Well, they seal the bulkheads in preparation for a crash while the crew struggles to stand. And they really go all out on their performance here. The captain activates manual control and extends the landing gears, and they slowly but surely make an emergency landing on the surface of the strange planet. Well, at least this crew seems to be competent. Some crews don't know what the hell they're doing at all, but they at least know how their ship works and how to work together and... Never mind then. So yeah, out of nowhere, 2 crew members attack the captain, and he fights them off, but then the one crew member recovers and looks fine, but is confused that girl character is attacking the captain, even though he attacked the captain too, which confuses the captain. Then another guy shows up and attacks the other crew member, girl character recovers, then she starts getting strangled by this guy, then the captain kicks the strangler after helping kick the shit out of the other guy, and what the fuck is happening? More crew members are trying to murder each other, and the same crew helps snap the others out of whatever the fuck caused them to turn on each other. The captain follows another crew member to chase down another guy, and yeah, they all wear the same clothes, so I'm not going to be figuring out who these people are until this becomes easier to keep track of. They all kind of blend together, and I'm doing the best I can here. The crazed man activates the airlock, which looks overly complicated but also very fun design, and the crazed man goes outside with a helmet. The captain and crewmen stop and go back for helmets, but the crazed man can't breathe, but then suddenly he's fine and looks around the planet, and the planet has a foreboding aura about it. The captain and crewmen make it out to the crazed man, but crazed man is sane again and asks how he got out of the ship. Okay, I'm intrigued. Good hook, movie. Good hook. They help the man back and all is well. For now. They look around a bit more and check the ship's exterior for damage. Everything seems to be in order from the outside, so the crew head back into the ship and close the hatch.
All right, quiet down, stay calm. Let's all try to stay calm and figure out what happened.
You're the only one talking, sir. So, something caused their automatic controls to go haywire, but at least they knew how to land manually, or this would have been a shorter movie. Apparently, the planet's gravity suddenly increased, and that seems to be the cause of them getting pulled out of orbit. The pilot, I think is who that is, says that the planet went to 40 G, and how the fuck did you survive 40 Gs? Whatever. I'm not expecting accuracy, but maybe do a little bit of research. I mean, space travel was new at the time, but they had fighter pilots back then too, you know. The point is, gravity increased, pulled them down, suddenly decreased, allowing them to land. Then everyone started trying to kill each other, and then they snapped out of it.
I've always known that any force greater than 25 Gs kills every living thing in a few seconds.
Oh, no shit! I am not dwelling on this anymore. I made my point already. They then receive a transmission from the captain of the Galliot, and our captain here tells the comms lady to keep trying to reach them, and for another crewman to basically use an infrared periscope to locate the ship. I'm trying to decode this techno-nonsense as best as I can here. The crewman spots the Galliot, but they can't make out the distance. The crew attempts to fly to the Galliot, but the ship is unable to relaunch. The engine just sputters, unable to generate any lift. Apparently this is because the solar batteries have short-circuited, but they can't determine how or why. The crew are then outside the ship, ready to make their way to the Galliot on foot. A crewman says that the rocks appear to be stable, and so they go for it, but proceed with caution. We get this interesting shot that makes the landscape feel more expansive, combining live-action sets and miniature ones. I always loved miniature work. We then get a lot of walking, and the shots look brilliant with all the strange colors, making the landscape feel truly alien. There's bubbling mud, and the crew looks nervous, but press on, and it goes on for quite a bit. But they make it to the Galliot, and find 2 dead crewmen outside. They fought each other and killed each other. The captain makes the assertion that this must have been planned by someone or something. They then board the Galliot and find that the rest of the crew are dead, including the captain's brother!
Poor Toby's first trip.
I mean, fuck everyone else, though. I just feel sad for Toby. I feel nothing for the rest of you, really. I mean, honestly, I didn't feel much for Toby either. I was just trying to appear more human than I really am. Space Academy said I was a sociopath. That's why they made me a captain. So then they check the rest of the ship, and we get another sense of scale shot with the characters composed onto this miniature set. Apparently among the Galliot crew, 3 are unaccounted for. They find one of them in engineering and find the meteor rejector is finished. The Galliot is out of commission. They find another door but need to go back for cutting torches to open it. Before they do, however, they bury their dead and mark the graves with scrap metal. We then have the typical 60s moment of woman cries while man comforts her. Granted, they just buried their friends, but all the men don't seem to care that much. They got over it pretty quick. They leave crewman Eldon to watch the Galliot while they go back for their ship to get a welding torch or something. But if both the ships are the same ship, essentially, wouldn't the Galliot have a welding torch somewhere also? Just saying. You could have saved yourselves the trip. Maybe I'm missing a line or something here. Maybe they can't find one, or it was out of commission. Well, Eldon is on watch, and then he hears someone call his name multiple times. Eldon is on alert, looking around to find out who it is. And it goes on for quite a bit to drive up suspense. Time passes and the crew returns, but Eldon is now missing. They leave this girl character to guard the door, which, okay, trusting a woman with a job like that is a little progressive for the time, I suppose. I just hope she can shoot and doesn't just scream and be scared all the time like some people we know.
We're all gonna die! We're all gonna die! Come on. Thanks, guys.
I hate that movie so much. Well, back on the Galliot, the captain and crew find that the 4 bodies they left on the bridge seem to have disappeared. Someone might have taken them, or maybe they're necromorphs now. They discuss if maybe they just hallucinated the bodies, but that gets disproven when crewman shows them raspberry jam, blood.
What happened? Fiona, what did you see?
You better have seen something truly terrifying to justify that reaction, or I'm going to laugh at you. Well, the crew leaves, and we see the scrap marking the graves get knocked over. And out from the graves, the crewmen rise from the dead! I don't know how this constitutes as vampires yet, because they seem more like zombies than anything, but now we get our monster reveal. Feels a bit early to me, but whatever. Another crewman is on watch outside the main ship, and it's pretty easy to tell that he's gonna die next, because he's alone out here. It's an ineffective way of protecting a spaceship. You should have at least 2, maybe 3 people out there. If they get your one guy, who's gonna be left to report it? Stupid space people. The crew inside the ship discuss the signal they've been tracking. Apparently it's gone now that they are here. And they discuss the voices they heard speaking in a strange language. That has to mean there was something intelligent down here. And the captain asks crewman Wes about his current assessment. Wes says that they only have 3 days to get the ship repaired and spaceworthy, or the planets won't be properly aligned for a return to their home planet. This information is interesting because it suggests that they must have launched this space mission from the same solar system, but if that's the case, where in our solar system even is this? Is this just some rogue planet that's passing by? You know, like one of those things that could destabilize an entire solar system? Like, I'm talking end of the world type shit? Have fun sleeping tonight. Well, whatever. I don't know what country they're supposed to be, though, because the outfits are pretty ambiguous, but they all speak English as if they're American. But I feel like there'd be more flags on everything, constantly reminding you that this is the Air Force or something. Wes says they have a slim chance of success, but they might be able to get the ship to launch without the batteries.
The captain should not be afraid. And I confess now, to whoever may hear this, that today, now, I am experiencing fear.
And fear makes you melodramatic, I guess. Actually, a reasonable captain maintains a respectable level of fear, as it reminds us to use caution before making brash decisions. Fear is a reminder of our mortality, which then allows us to consider the mortality of our crew, as it is our duty to see them through a successful voyage. Bravery is not the absence of fear, but the will to not let it rule over you.
I must not let my crew know this. I must keep them busy. I must not let them know that the situation appears more hopeless with each passing day.
Each passing day? What? How long have you been down there? What do you mean, each passing day? You just got here! Wes then walks in, and the captain goes silent as we see Wes walk past with rather unnatural movement. The captain follows the crewman, who takes off his face neck thing and throws it to the ground. He then approaches the meteor rejector, and he tries to disconnect the device. The crew stop him, and Wes snaps out of it, saying that he tried to fight it, but something was compelling him to do it. It seems whatever is trying to control them can only do it when they're unconscious, like when they made that emergency landing or when they went to sleep just now. This sets a pretty interesting precedent. If you go lights out, these things can just waltz in like house squatters and take up the controls. Their will overpowers yours until you can regain consciousness. The captain then orders to have guards for anyone who is sleeping, someone to wake them if they start acting abnormally. Then, outside the ship, our armed crewman hears a noise. These strange lights appear, and Bert comes over to check it out. Okay, so there are at least 2 people on guard. I'll take that stupid space people insult back. Well, they report an emergency and the crew head out. The guard reports seeing strange lights appear and then vanish. Suddenly, the lights come back, making a weird but aggressive sounding noise. The crew stand ready to defend themselves, but then they hear screaming, and they rush to see Bert was attacked. He tells them that Captain Salas of the Galliot was the one who attacked him, but the crew of the Galliot is supposed to be dead. With that, Bert dies. They bring his body aboard and try to reassess the situation. As the captain tells them of the orbs of light, Bert kinda just wakes up, but then pretends to be dead again. The crew decide to bury him tomorrow and head out, except for the brown hair lady who I'm figuring out is named Sonia. Decides to remove his nameplate first. Bert seems like he's going to attack, but the blonde hair lady shows up and brings her out of the room, also offering to finish the records for Sonia. Blonde hair lady goes back and she does some walking around, doing her reports. Then she sees Bert standing up and she screams, then faints. Of course the crew hears this, rush to investigate, find blonde lady on the floor and alive, but Bert is back on the table. Bert Vampire just wanted to be a dick, I guess. Actually, can we consider them vampires? I'm gonna look this up. Okay, I got something. So, after a quick Google search, a vampire can be classified as a mythological undead creature that feeds off the life essence of humans. The most common way vampires are depicted doing this is by drinking a victim's blood, although it doesn't always have to be that way. I'm not a vampire expert though, so maybe someone can correct me in the comments if my definition is flawed in any way. But with this in mind though, we haven't seen them trying to feed on someone's life essence. We've seen the humans get mind controlled when they go unconscious, but that hardly counts as feeding off of life essence, and more imposing their will upon them. They most certainly seem to be undead, though. But so are zombies. I don't really think we can classify them as vampires at the moment. We'll see by the end if they do, though. They bury Bert, and they mourn him. They then get back to working on how to get off this planet. The captain and Sonia suit up for an excursion, while Wes and blonde hair lady work on fixing the ship. Apparently, a crewman saw something shiny, and that constitutes investigating, despite everything else going on right now. The captain, Sonia, and this crewman go out and discover a derelict. Immediately, I thought of Alien when I saw that, and I can really see how Alien might have been inspired by this. Very interesting.
Do you think it belongs to the Orions?
I doubt it. I doubt if the Orions ever built any spaceships.
So, what are Orions? You mean those Star Trek aliens that look like they're selling frozen peas?
Ho ho ho.
Green giants.
Have we made contact with aliens before this point? What is this nonchalant world building? Well, we get a reveal of the occupants' skeletal remains, and they appear to be giants compared to us.
Giants.
The crewman is ordered to stand guard outside, while the captain and Sonia investigate the inside. Here, take this red shirt to stay warm. The two head in as the crewman waits at the entrance. They find a room full of strange alien technology. As they look around, the ship emits a pulsing hum as the lights pulse on and off. The crewman takes another glance at the giant skeleton, and the two continue looking around, finding another giant alien skeleton. Honestly, I'm loving the spooky vibe of this derelict. Well, Sonia finds this strange light next to the alien, and just like every idiot in these old space movies, she reaches out and touches it. It shocks her hand, and the captain approaches.
What is it?
Oh, I got a shock.
How?
Touching that.
Ouch!
She just told you that thing shocked her, and your first instinct is to touch it.
That must be over 200 volts.
Okay, here's another example of these people just being some kind of superhuman. Because, first of all, how can you tell that's 200 volts? Second, we can't really withstand any kind of voltage. However, the general rule of thumb is that anything over 50 volts can be potentially lethal. How the hell you be touching that thing and getting 200 volts? How do you people survive pulling off 40 Gs? What are you people made of? Well, they also find what appears to be the ship's log, where we can hear the aliens' voices. They sound like a slow-playing record speaking gibberish. The captain tries to turn it off, but it won't stop playing the weird audio. Then the hatch closes, and the two are now trapped inside listening to terrible slow-mo alien karaoke night. At least they aren't being forced to listen to Vogon poetry.
My fruiting turling groans, and hoopsiously blandly with crinkly brindle wordles, or else I shall rend thee in the dollar words with my blogle crunch and see if I don't.
Well, they can't get the door open, the crewmen can't hear them, and they start to panic. The captain then destroys the playback device and the voice stops. They then discover a tuning fork, which looks important, and the captain believes that maybe, just maybe, the door uses a sonic lock, tuned to a certain frequency. So they try the tuning fork on the door, but nothing. They then begin to realize that the air is being pulled out of the room through a vent. The captain then sees the shocky light again, and has another idea. He picks it up and holds it to the door, and that turns out to be the key that opens the hatch. Dude literally just ran 200 volts through his body like he was a Tesla coil. How is your heart not stopped? Also, what was the point of the tuning fork? Why was that here? Well, what did discovering that accomplish for us? They can't be humans. They fucking can't be humans. They gotta be fucking Kryptonians or Viltrumites or whatever the fuck. They cannot be human. They can't be human. Okay? It's just dumb. Well, at any rate, they leave the ship finding nothing of value, and the crewman isn't at the entrance anymore, so something most likely got him. Well, they get back to the ship, which I'm now realizing is called Argos, and the crewman, of course, isn't there. He totally got picked off. Apparently, Blonde Lady had another episode and was only able to whisper two names, Danny and Toby, who were members of the crew, I presume. Of course, this crewman didn't see anything. The Blonde Lady then tells them that she saw the mutilated bodies of the crew, and freaks out, talking about empty, dead faces. The captain is on guard duty outside and asks Wes if they can leave, and Wes says they have 8 more circuits to fix. Then they'll either take off or explode or something. Then, post number 3 reports an alert, and the captain rushes over. They then discover 2 crewmen, the captain of the galliot, Salus, along with someone else. I really can't tell who that is with all these costumes. So Salus briefs the captain on his story, but they seem very unnatural, and I don't trust him right now, especially because Bert literally said, Captain Salus did this right before he died. So clearly the captain is going to make the wise decision to have someone monitor them.
All right. I'm glad you made it. I sure can use you. Now, go and get some sleep.
This captain is an idiot. He then tells them to keep watch of each other while they sleep, because I'm sure the 2 survivors here are totally not body snatched or anything like that. Just look at how they leave the room. Completely natural human locomotion right there. The doctor here makes the case that he doesn't know what's going on, but they're here, so they're alive at least. I feel like he should be examining them or something, you know, considering they might be hurt, and he's the ship's fucking doctor? But I guess everyone is just having an off day right now, right? Blonde Lady tells them that she knows those 2 are dead, and that the others are somewhere out there, including Bert. The captain doesn't believe her at first, because of reasons. It's the 60s. You could imagine why he's skeptical of her. Well, she tells them that there is a way to be certain, and they check Bert's gravesite. It seems intact. But when they open it, all that's in there is the plastic they wrapped him in! Ooh! Ow! Jesus, holy eardrums, Batman, what the fuck? So Salas and the other guy make their way to engineering and they disconnect the meteor rejector. The captain walks by, not noticing. He finds that the two are missing, and the captain assembles the crew to find them. They locate Salas and try to tackle him, but then they see that Salas's body is rotted like a corpse. Decomposition is pretty fast on this planet, it seems. So yeah, they've been dead the whole time. Salas then says that he's not really Salas. What a shocker. Instead, he's some kind of being that inhabits the bodies of the dead and unconscious. Apparently, the planet is inhabited by these beings, and they wanted the crew to come down and kill each other so they could inhabit their bodies. This is eerily similar to the plot of Dead Space, just light entities instead of markers, and considerably less gory. The reason is because their planet is dead, and they need a new place to live. This whole thing is turning into a horror version of Star Trek, which I'm all for, by the way. But if they need to escape the planet, why would they disable the meteor rejector? The movie has made it a point that this thing is important to the rest of the ship. So, isn't disconnecting that counterintuitive to their motivations here? It also says that they've seen humans killing each other throughout their existence, so why would they be any different? Good point, albeit not that profound nowadays. At least this movie doesn't end with them and the vampires becoming friends. Fucking Star Crystal. The Thing tells them to surrender their bodies, and the humans tell them no. So the Thing disconnects from Salas's body, and the crew check engineering. So the rejector is now gone, but it can't have gotten far, right? Except we don't know where the other guy went. And odds are they're taking it to the Galliot for repairs. Okay, that actually makes more sense. The captain then comes up with a plan to get it back. Blow up the Galliot and take off from this place. They grab some detonators and the plan is underway. The captain heads out with Wes staying behind to guard and repair the Argos. The dead crewman makes it back to the Galliot, where more dead crewmen are trying to fix the ship. So that's interesting. These beings, after taking over their host, seem to also gain the host's knowledge, which allows them to speak our language, as well as grant them the know-how to repair the downed Galliot. These aliens are rather interesting as a concept, although they aren't consuming the life essence of other beings, rather than simply taking control of their bodies. Of course, the humans have to surrender their will in order for them to take control, but they don't consume their will, so I still don't think we can call them vampires. More like some advanced form of demonic possession, really. I suppose the Demon Planet would have been a more apt title for this movie, but I live in America, and this is the title we got. Why did this movie have 3 different titles? And why did we get the lamest one? The captain and team make their way to the Galliot, while Wes tests the engines. The captain gives each crewman a detonator. His plan is pretty reasonable for the situation. He'll go in first, and if he fails, the next crewman will fall in and make an attempt. They got 3 shots to recover the rejector and plant the bombs. So the captain and Sonya go in together, which I thought you said you were going in alone, and that... oh, fuck it. They're just words at this point. Then the captain sees his dead brother patrolling the area. They plant the first detonator and start the timer. Then they sneak into the ship. It's honestly kind of creepy seeing the crewmen in this undead state. They make it to engineering, and Sonya starts the countdown. but the captain's brother finds them and catches them at gunpoint. The captain then tries to convince his brother that he's in there somewhere, and if he just allows himself to find the will to overpower the will of the aliens, then maybe, just maybe, they can be a family again. Nah, it ain't that kind of movie. The captain fights his dead brother, and after getting his gun back, shoots his legs out to prevent him from following. But this has caught the attention of the undead crew. They grab the meteor rejector and escape out the airlock, with the entire crew chasing them down. Not gonna lie, this part felt pretty intense. This movie surprises me. They make it outside and get into a brawl with other undead crew members, and it turns into a zombie survival movie in space. I fucking love this shit. Salas grabs a pipe like he's gonna kill one of them, but Sonya shoots his ass. Nice job, girl. Kick ass. They survive their encounter with the undead crew and rush as quickly as possible back to the ship, but Sonya trips on the terrain and nearly falls into boiling hot sludge. The captain helps her up, and they continue running back to the Argos. The two crew at the Argos entrance wait for the others to return, and when they see that the undead crew is pursuing them, they get into defensive positions and start firing at them. Salas flanks them, however, and shoots them both in the back. Fortunately, the captain and Sonya made it aboard, and Wes attempts the launch. With luck, the ship is able to take off. Although the aliens have the power to just pull them out of orbit, so I don't know why they just don't do that again, you know? Wait. Why don't they do that? Like, for real, why don't they just pull them back down? It's like they're letting them go, or... Oh. Oh no. They inform Wes that the others are dead and install the meteor rejector back into the ship. Wes and the captain talk about the loss of their fellow crew, but the captain seems distant. Almost like the lights are off. Maybe he's just tired from the stress. So, the captain tells Wes to get some sleep, and that he and Sonya will keep watch. Wes isn't going to argue with that, so he does. Sonya takes a final look at the planet, and the creepy music is leading me to believe that they certainly let this ship go on purpose. Oh no, guys! Well, Wes wakes up to footsteps, and he sees the hatch open, slowly. Wes, feeling paranoid, grabs a weapon, and he sees the captain's reflection. But something is really off about him, and he's holding a gun. The captain says nothing, and walks away. Wes gets up and finds Sonya. He tells her about his brief encounter, but Sonya tells him that he didn't see anything. Wes says, "Yeah, I did," and says he thinks the captain planned to kill him. Wes asks Sonya to check on the captain with him to make sure he wasn't possessed. So she does. Before entering, however, Sonya grabs a gun off the rack. Oh, this isn't good.
Mark. Wes has found out about us.
They're both possessed. Wes realizes this, and they tell him to surrender his will to let one of them inside to control him. I think they're implying that the beings in their ethereal form are all over the ship right now. The ship is full of demons! My God, it's like Event Horizon all over again! They tell Wes that he can't stop them, but Wes is done with this bullshit.
Our world will never fall into your hands!
Maybe not, but you won't be the one to stop us.
Yes, I will!
So they really didn't try to stop him there. Despite having a gun. but okay. So the rejector is down and we get our plot twist. They need to make an emergency landing somewhere and need to locate a sufficient landing zone. They find a planet nearby, and it looks oddly familiar. In fact, it's the third planet of the Sol system, and is just right for habitation. When they zoom in, they find cities. And yeah, it's present-day Earth. And the aliens, after successfully hijacking the ship, make their way to the planet where they and the other evil alien demon vampires can take over the world. Yeah, so this whole time we were following extraterrestrial humans from another planet. So they were Viltrumites or whatever the fuck. God damn, what a stupid movie. And that was Planet of the Vampires. Yep. I'm baffled. What did I just watch? On one hand, the movie succeeds at a few key things. The otherworldly feel, the sense of entrapment, and it definitely has some really interesting ideas for its alien monsters. However, I found it difficult to keep track of the different characters, and I feel like that could have been sorted out with making their outfits stand out in different ways. Star Trek, for example, would have color-coded uniforms, and that made it easier to know who was who so nobody would blend into each other. This movie has everyone in these weird leather suits that made them all look pretty much the same. I think the only differences in uniform were between the two ships, where the Argos crew had yellow insignia while the Galliot had some red ones. Outside of the obvious issues, dated effects, campy nature, the atmosphere is actually really creepy. The planet's surface is really something to behold, and I admire their attempts to give us a grand sense of scale, making everything feel bigger than it was. I especially love the similarities to Alien and some other sci-fi related media, which really does add to the mythos of the genre in an unexpected way. I wouldn't say it's for everyone, but if you love retro sci-fi stuff or campy horror, or if you're just into film history as a whole, this is all in all a fun Halloween movie, and I think I'd watch this again next year as part of my Halloween movie list. I definitely recommend giving this movie a chance, and I think right now it's on YouTube for free, so it's worth a look, especially if it's free. Distract yourself with some fun, campy retro sci-fi space horror, and give Planet of the Vampires a watch. This is the Captain, signing off. Oh. Hey, Rem. What you doing on the bridge?
I don't know.
Okay. Why are you holding a kitchen knife?
I don't know.
Okay. So go back to engineering, please.
Cheese.
What?
Grill me a cheese.
What, you mean right now? Okay, why don't you meet me in the commons area, and then I'll be right out, and I'll make you your grilled cheese. Alright? I'll meet you there in a minute. Come on.
Hello?
Oh, yeah, hey, Barry, it's me. Did I just wake you?
Yes.
Okay, right, sorry about that. But, this is a little concerning. Remy just walked onto the bridge, and he asked me if I could make him a grilled cheese.
So? You making me one?
I mean, I can, if you want one.
Cool.
Right. Well, when he walked in, he...
With butter.
What?
I want mine with butter.
Oh. Sure, yeah, well, when he walked in here, he had a kitchen knife?
Oh?
Yeah, so here's what we're gonna do, okay?
Alright.
I'm gonna make him his grilled cheese like he wants, and while he's distracted with that, you come in and you take the knife and then you hide it somewhere, okay?
Okay. What about Remy?
Well, he was acting a bit strange. Almost unnatural.
So, he got into the weed cabinet?
Oh, 100%. The guy's not baked, he's overcooked.
Not to mention I can smell it from here.
Yeah, it's getting into the air filters now, so I think we're all going to be feeling it here in a minute.
Fun.
Yep.
So like, welcome to my kitchen, guys. Like, we're gonna demonstrate on how to make grilled cheese. Because grilled cheese, if you don't like grilled cheese, then I don't know what else to tell you. But anyways, what you wanna do? Get your bread. Get the bread. Here we go. Got your bread. You come over here. You put it on the cutting board for a minute. Then what you need to do is get your cheese. That's my favorite part. We go over to the refrigerator where all the fixings are. Open the door, grab the cheese, close our refrigerator. Now we've got your cheese. See, you got the cheese right here. Now, what we do is come over here, on over to the cutting board. Sit your cheese down, take your knife. Got this nice sharp knife. Be careful, don't cut yourself, because it can be very, very painful, and it's not healthy. So anyways, take your knife, and you chop, chop, chop. Now you got your cheese slices. Take the cheese slices, you come over to your bread, you slip it on in there, and there you go. Now, it's not done. It's not done, ladies and gentlemen. What you gotta do now is you take it on over to your fryer over here. So you come over here to your skillet, you stick it on in there, and you just gotta wait for that perfect sizzle and cut right on in there, and it should be done. Ladies and gentlemen, our grilled cheese is done. And now I am gonna go eat this grilled cheese because I am hungry and I love my cheese. My grilled cheese.
I don't know how he cooked the bread on both sides like that. I genuinely have no idea how that's even possible. I genuinely. Oh, you're still here. I thought you were going to eat your cheese.
Oh, yeah, I am. But I just wanted to show you the finished product. We had to put it on a plate.
Oh, yes. Behold. Let's get a zoom in on...
Breakfast and dinner. Breakfast and dinner of champions, ladies and gentlemen.
Indeed.